Jennifer Salke's recent departure from Amazon Studios, which Hollywood insiders say is more akin to a firing than a graceful exit, has sparked widespread speculation about the fate of the studio's slate of projects. Perhaps chief among them is The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which, in just 2 seasons, has only proven to lose more of its audience despite its massively bloated budget. Following the dismal performance of Season 2, Amazon for some time remained uncharacteristically silent on a Season 3 renewal before it was finally given the go-ahead. As head of Amazon Studios, Salke consistently positioned herself as a staunch advocate for the floundering series, often cloaking any signs of panic in polished corporate jargon. However, with her exit from the studio, the question looms of what lies ahead for Rings of Power and its future. I knew something was fishy a while ago when she was trying to spin the Rings of Power Season 2 drop in viewership, not giving away any details about their actual streaming numbers because Amazon doesn't release those. But she was saying, oh, we have so many viewers tuning in and engaging. She was very much a used car salesman trying to spin this absolute disaster. And it was at an upfront presentation for ad buyers where she was spinning this. The Samba TV numbers were not looking good. Huge decline from Season 1 numbers, which Season 1 had already lost 63% domestic viewership across its 8 episodes. And then it came out after she's tried to spin it. Oh, it's a business, yes, but we have a lot of people engaging with it, but didn't provide any specific details. But this is what she was trying to sell those ad buyers, saying that it was the #1 driver of subscriptions on the streaming platform of Amazon. And the actual facts and data just didn't align with that. And I'm sure those ad buyers, once the actual numbers were confirmed, and it was confirmed that there was a 60% drop from Season 2 numbers from Season 1, then that was probably another straw that broke the camel's back. When you're spending just obscene amounts of money and not seeing substantial returns from it. When it comes to Rings of Power, if things will change, honestly, with Citadel up in the air, because that's something that has been confirmed. This was a show that was entirely from Jennifer Salke's brain, the second most expensive series on the platform, and had 2 other spin-offs that were in active development. And that's definitely put on hold because that just seems way too obscenely expensive, especially at this time when you have such valuable IPs already. You really need to be focusing on that and trying to make a smart decision for once. But when it comes to Rings of Power, that's definitely, I think, part of it. That is the most expensive show by far that they have. And the viewership numbers just aren't there. And any other show on any other platform, except maybe Apple, on any other platform that doesn't have those additional sources of revenue, 1 season would be over. Jennifer Salke was definitely involved in the money part of it and the executive producing part of it, because she was the one doing all these upfront presentations. So trying to sell it to ad buyers. So that's what she was doing. Season 3 is in production. That was the last thing we heard of it. And the tagline or the plot summary, even though it wouldn't cover the full events of the Second Age, the way they worded it did kind of give off an air. If they wanted, they could reformat it or restructure it to be the last season. And honestly, I think you should at this point. With the trend of losing more than 50% of viewership on one of your most expensive shows, I just don't think it justifies even the 3rd season. And the budget issues, that's all Salke. This amount of money and put in people in charge that were wholly inexperienced. Didn't have a official credit to their name to run this project. So it was just doomed from the start. I think what's telling is that Citadel, which was this huge franchise that they wanted to launch, is basically canceled. And pretty soon after those spinoffs were greenlit and Season 2 was greenlit. So there is a possibility that Rings of Power is a casualty of this. But either way, I think it definitely could happen. Season 3, if it happens, might be the end. Honestly, I feel like this is a good decision across the board because Jennifer Salke just wasn't doing anything. She was really dragging her feet on a lot of valuable IPs and pursuing other things with way too much money that audiences just weren't responding to. So I think across the board, this is a good decision. We just want Tolkien stories. That's all we want. If you can cut the fat of which is not working and give the fans, give the customers what we're asking for, what we want. And in regards to Tolkien's Middle-earth, we want his stories. What will be good if they are able to just stop this is that they can pursue what actually does work. I can't believe how much they spent on MGM alone, and they didn't want to spend to get the rights to Tolkien's Second Age stories, the appropriate rights for the story that they wanted to tell. You're going to set your show in the Second Age and not have the rights to tell his stories is insane, considering how much money they've spent already. Why can't you just shell out a bit more and release something that is worthy of Tolkien to have Lord of the Rings associated with it? For all of the money that they are spending, this just seems to be a growing problem with the industry itself. It is insane how much was spent for so very little, and what does go through is just subpar at best when it's not just being a complete bastardization of a beloved IP. For a fraction of the cost of what they spent, even on Rings of Power, you could have had like multi-season shows like Stargate. You could have had so many episodes of other things. How money is just so irresponsibly used nowadays, it's pretty crazy. And I think for other studios, they're learning this lesson to their detriment. It takes them imploding and on the verge of being consumed by other studios because they just haven't learned this lesson. Or they refuse. They refuse to give the customer what they want. And I get with trying to experiment and do new original things. But if it's not being received well, try something else and maybe don't spend obscene amounts of money in doing something experimental, because maybe then it will find an audience. And maybe it wouldn't be such a financial loss if you were just better at managing money. And I think that just takes experience. If you have experienced creators and showrunners, they'll know how to use their budget wisely. Everyone back in the past that did these multi-season shows, sci-fi shows specifically, Farscape, Stargate, Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica, they did so much with so little. Hopefully this is a sign that Amazon is getting their house in order and will be a positive sign for fans who want more, who want to see their beloved IPs just treated well and expanded and enrich upon it and to honor it. That's what fans want. At the end of the day, we all want good stories, and I don't know why that's just a hard concept for people. Manage your budget well, write good stories, get experienced people in there who know what they're doing and who are knowledgeable about the source material to work on these projects, and you will be rewarded. Fans will give you their money. Fallout's a great example. They've seen what works on their own platform. They have had a few successes, and successes specifically with a famous IP. That's a great example. The viewership for Fallout was really good. Great fan response, as well as normies who were introduced for the first time enjoyed it. Who did that? Was that Jonathan Nolan? And Todd Howard was involved in that. So it makes sense. Kind of a weird way to put it. But you can have lots of Fallouts. You just have to put in the work. Don't overspend. Be smart. Get experienced people, one who know the source material and respect it, and make it accessible to everyone with good stories. You'll find success. You'll reap those rewards. Fallout does seem to be having some issues getting off the ground itself too. Even one of their most successful shows. I haven't heard about season 2 even starting filming yet. And that's kind of crazy. And I think that just goes to show like the pure chaos that's been happening behind the scenes at Amazon. In the end, I don't think there's any chance of redeeming the Rings of Power series. The most merciful outcome might be for it to follow the path of the Citadel spin-offs, quietly axed at the first opportunity. From the moment I began tracking news of Amazon's Middle-earth project, I believed the smartest approach would have been a standalone, original, self-contained Second Age story that aligns seamlessly with Tolkien's writings on that era. Given they reportedly hold the rights to and creative license to at least do that much, Amazon could still pivot to creating their own Middle-earth story that doesn't try to cram in all of the events in the Second Age. If they insist on retaining and using their rights, I'd say they should ditch the current creative team, start fresh with a tighter, smaller story, and take a page from Fallout's playbook, which largely proved to win over both audiences and fans. Whether they'll learn that lesson remains to be seen. But I'm curious to know what you think about the future of Rings of Power after Jennifer Salke's firing. Do you think they should try to reset and tell a new Middle-earth-based story that fits well within the scope of their current rights? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more sci-fi and fantasy news, theories, and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, you can leave a super thanks or join as a YouTube member for early access to new videos and other perks. You can also check out my Patreon page for exclusive content. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.